So for our more sensitive audience members, this about 8-minute story does contain descriptions of ritual scarification and also descriptions of bodily fluids. So I'm going to give everybody a quick hot second to make the decision. You're all adults. I believe you can make it for yourselves. Okay, I shall begin. The year is 1998. I'm living at Natsuo, that's Houston spelled backwards, a historic 3-story converted shoe store on Main Street that served as a 24-hour coffee shop, performance space, dance studio, after-hours speakeasy, and a home for owner Jim Pirtle and his boisterous toddler, Martha, as well as several bohemian artist types like me. Ricky Hupsher, a disgruntled former Houston ballet dancer turned avant-garde choreographer, led nightly dance classes on the second floor. I joined his company with little experience and a lot of enthusiasm. I loved being able to work in the coffee shop and rehearse upstairs, where I also lived in a former storage closet that I had converted into a makeshift bedroom. I sometimes worked the midnight to 6 a.m. shift in the coffee shop, ushering inebriated artists from the after-hour speakeasy if they knew the password. The password was Martha. I was 22 years old and living out all of my creative fantasies, learning ballet and jazz and modern dance technique with Richie and his dance company, rehearsing and performing wild performance, art dance pieces to excited audiences, and hanging out with painters, writers, actors, scientists, and philosophers when I wasn't dancing. I still was occasionally relapsing with my drugs of choice, speed and cocaine, but I never got them on sight, and the alcohol that flowed so ubiquitously at Natsuo didn't tempt me much. The danger was always stimulants for me, drugs that sharpened my brain and made me feel unstoppable. Getting drunk and sloppy paled in comparison to having endless energy, focus, and confidence. Oh, but the come down, so damn painful and absolutely life-wrecking. When I showed up at Natsuo after being a serious addict and overdosing twice the year prior, I was ready to focus on what really mattered to me, connecting with my artistic ambitions, training, performing, and swimming in that absolutely wild environment, creative soup. Those were the only drugs I wanted. Richie told the troupe about an opportunity to perform at the newly renovated Rice Hotel grand opening party with local troublemakers, the Art Guys, and the multimedia crew, Net. He smiled at us mischievously, and he said, "Let's shock the hell out of those rich attendees." I'm thinking naked fashion show and big band Buto dance. He looked at my forehead, sporting a new geometric scarification design that my friend Greg had given me the night before, and said, "Let's do some scarification too, if you're up for it." Now, reader, if you're not familiar with scarification, it's a type of temporary tattoo. And it's done with a razor blade, no ink. So it can be desired, it can be performed lightly enough to not even leave a scar at all. I was trepidatious about trusting anyone but Greg to take a blade to my skin. But I also definitely wanted to contribute something interesting to the performance. Given my lack of ability and experience as a skilled dancer, I took it upon myself to bring the shock and awe. So, to the party, we came with some live scarification. We decided to create a mock wedding ceremony. Stephanie, the prima ballerina of our group, and I would both sport nude torsos with white body paint on our skin and our hair. She wore a long, light white skirt that looked like the bottom of a wedding dress, and I wore white tuxedo pants and a top hat. After our group's big dance number and naked fashion show, it was time for the finale. Trance electronic music filled the air, and all eyes fell on us as Net Live projected the video that covered the walls and the ceilings of the Rice Hotel ballroom. We pulled out our razor blades and I carved a perfect half circle on Stephanie's upper chest. She started bleeding, and it created a beautiful dripping red lines forming a dress top. Well, I continued carving the rest of the circle on her back. She lifted her razor blade to carve the front of a suit jacket lapel on my chest. But her nerves took over, and she pushed way too hard. Unlike how we had practiced making a light incision, she pressed all the way down, and I almost vomited when I felt the blade hit my chest bone. Staying in character, I said through gritted teeth, "That's too hard." And she backed off, continuing the design until my carved chest jacket design was done. I noticed the walls and the ceilings were now red with projections covering them in the live video feed of our blood. I fought the nausea and tuned out everything but focusing on Stephanie and projecting a surreal, radiant, wedding energy out to the audience. I was told afterwards that some people left horrified. Some people thought it was beautiful, and most were there. They thought it was all fake. The scars on my chest would beg to differ. Instead of going straight to the emergency room to get stitches like Stephanie did, she was always the smart one, I got some cheap butterfly bandages at the drugstore and proceeded to go celebrate with old friends. I felt brave that night, but alone. My friends Oksana, Joe, and Chris had come to the show, but they were more interested in getting high and talking about, rather than talking about what the performance meant to them. None of them understood what I was experiencing. The thrill, putting myself in danger to make a powerful statement and to move an audience. I loved it, and I knew I needed to keep feeling it. Whether it was the physical danger or pushing myself over the edge emotionally, I was ready and eager for all the scars coming my way. Thank you.
All right. Your next story here, I'm really excited. This is his first time reading, and sorry. But he's a really nice guy, and I know he's got a really good voice. And so I know that you're really going to enjoy this coming up. So the next story is called Alien in the Membrane. I don't know if I should have said that as Alien in the Membrane. My bad. Written by Andrew Cosma and read by the one and only Jay Hickman.